I just realized I was able to hook my phone up to the speakers. How cool is that? So
that's a good sign.
Check this out. This is amazing because, okay, so if I go like this, I can play music and be like a DJ. And here is going to be so neat because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and say that to, okay, and then I'll go here. All right, so my friend Bob Schneider in Austin, Texas, emailed me and said, Steve, write a song and say sewing machine in it. And I was like, why? And he goes, because everybody's going to write a song and we're going to call it Sewing Machine. And I go, we are? He goes, yeah, but they'll all sound different. And so I wrote my own Sewing Machine song. Now, remember when I was talking about Jim Croce earlier, how I was saying Time in a Bottle? Yep. I ended up, so Croce's plane obviously crashed. AJ, his son, was only 3 years old when his dad's plane went down. And he had just written Time in a Bottle for AJ Croce. If I could save time. I sang it the night I went home with Brenda, right? And the bikers were after me and my life was in peril. Well, this is how crazy life is. Years later, AJ Croce became one of my best friends. So, I mean, it's so weird. And then I moved to Nashville. He was out there too. We always lived near each other and we've written so many songs together, me and AJ, on his dad's guitar. I mean, it's crazy. Obviously not the guitar that was on the plane that crashed, but another guitar. Funny, huh? Okay, hashtag too soon. But anyway, AJ's so funny because he goes, that was horrible. But anyways, AJ goes, man, he goes, Poltz. He always calls me Poltz. Poltz. I was in, and it was in Georgia, in this small town in Georgia where the plane crashed. And he goes, they decided to give me the key to the city in this little town where the plane crashed. And so he goes there and it's a big ceremony. They're renaming the street Jim Croce Way and all this stuff. And they tell AJ, it's AJ Croce, it's your dad's day. And we're giving you a key to the city. And while everybody's clapping, he goes, the mayor leaned over and whispered in his ear because the plane took off. And the problem was it was out of gas. And it would have made it, but it went down and it hit a pole. It hit a tree that was by the side, and that's what killed his dad. It could have still landed. And so as everybody's clapping and AJ gets the key, he goes, the mayor leans down and whispers in my ear, just so you know, we cut down that tree. Is that awesome? So AJ has a gallows sense of humor, as do I. So my friend Bob Schneider says, write a song, call it Sewing Machine. So I go, okay. So then I go over to AJ's house and I go, can you play piano on it? And I taped him on my phone, playing piano. And his wife, who's now deceased, Marlo, she was great. She got her sewing machine out and put the sound of a sewing machine in it. And the only rule was everybody had to write a song and mention sewing machine. Now, I haven't done this song in a while, and I have not hooked it up before, but this guy stopped me on the way. It was you. And he goes, hey, I was wondering if you're going to do sewing machine. And I go, no, I'm not, because I don't have the thing. I didn't say it like that to him because I didn't want to let him down hard. But in my mind, I went, he's not going to hear it. And I said, okay, I need to talk to the guy. And I went, there's nothing I can do. I don't have a cord to hook it up. And then I walked up here and I set everything down. I went to grab my guitar so I could start the set. And I realized I don't have the guitar. And on the way back there, I went, well, you should at least ask the sound guy. Maybe there's some weird way. And so I go, hey, do you have a way of making this Bluetooth? He goes, oh, easy. Shut this off here. So I get my guitar and I come up, I go, I can do sewing machine. Just because life is a series of random things. Had you not gotten those nachos, and then had you not asked me, and then whoever wanted to hear it wouldn't have heard the song. And everything would have changed and it would have been awful. So like if you had arrived, if you had decided at the last minute you weren't getting the nachos because you shared somebody else's food, then what happens is the whole night changes. But it needs to be this way because it allows people to leave at a certain time. So then it's like you have to get Michael J. Fox to go, he's got to go back to the future he's got to make sure you want nachos, so he's got to walk by you like this, because he's living in the future, and had this not happened, I wouldn't have sang that song or told that story, and you wouldn't have been here because you got a flat tire, which you don't know about, but he went back and fixed the tire real quick and made sure it was safe. And so before me to do this song was when the guy, Christopher Lloyd, was like, Marty, get my flux capacitor. I've got to get back to the future. And so then that happened, and that's why I'm able to sing this song. So you're going to hear a sewing machine. By the way, this is my favorite. I would like to show you my favorite emoji that I use way too often. I love that one. Okay. Here goes. The one that doesn't know what's going on. So, this is AJ Croce playing piano. Oh, wait, let me do it again. I'm going to start it from the beginning. Okay, here goes. While he lives in a hole in a tree, he's much, much smaller than me. He lures the children up for spider tea. He's buzzy as a bumblebee. Well, his fingernails have all turned black. His nose is like an old smokestack. Steam leaves his ears, and when the smoke clears, you'll see that you can't go back. Well, he says his name is Jack Beevil. His voice is as screechy as a weasel. He'll sew you up to the wall. In a long dark hall, he's got a bunch of kids sewn to an easel. At least 100 kids sewn to an easel. Sewing machine. He sews the kids together, and his teeth are green. You can't scratch an itch. Your eye can barely twitch. He's a mean old man with a sewing machine. Tell the kids, don't go in the woods. There's a scary, scary man who isn't good. Little Mary didn't listen as hard as she could. Now she's sewn to the wall in a hood. She's got a brother with a hook for an arm from an accident that happened on the farm. His name is Ben. He doesn't have any friends. All the children made fun of his arm. Little Ben scratched his itch with his hook, but got an idea while reading a book. He welded scissors to his hook where his hand used to be, and said, I'll search for my sister down by the brook. Ben climbed deep into the forest. All the owls started singing in a chorus. Be careful, little boy, when you go around the pass. There's a gargoyle in a hood named Boris. Ooh, ooh. Sewing machine. He sews the kids together, and his teeth are green. You can't scratch an itch. Your eye can barely twitch. He's a mean old man with a sewing machine. Ben climbed into a hole in the ground. It was cold and so far down. It was dark and hard to see, but he screamed for Mary and kept going down, down, down. When he got to the bottom of the cave, he felt like he was in a big grave. to the walls, down all the halls that he knew he had to save. He cut the children down just like he was a crook, using the scissors at the end of his hook. And as the kids broke free, they were screaming with glee, saying, "Ben, you are the man." Jack Beagle was as angry as a snake, and he jumped out of a big black cake. He grabbed Ben by his coat, with his hands around his throat. His evil body started to shake. Jack Beagle fell to the ground, and his tears fell all around. He said, "I'm sorry I kept you here. I was lonely and without cheer, and no one talks to me in this town." Jack Beagle sits alone in his cell, but when they ring the jailhouse bell, little Ben will come to see him, even though they'll never free him. He's making friends, mending clothes from his cell. He makes amends, mending clothes from his cell. All right, everybody, this is the sing-along part. Sewing machine. He sews clothes for the kids, sews clothes for the kids, and his teeth are green. His teeth, you can't scratch an itch. You can't scratch. Your eye can barely twitch. He's a lonely old man. He's a lonely old man with a sewing machine. Sewing machine. He's making new friends with a sewing machine. Now. Holy crap, and you requested that. What is your name?